In my last edited video, we met Jeff. Now, Jeff is an aspiring Christian rapper. And today, Jeff's going to tell us the story about how Jesus entered his heart. And it's going to involve mushrooms. What is up, you sinners and saints, you heathens, demons, beautiful people? Welcome back to A Raging Atheist. I'm your boy Nakasuchi, and today we've got a fun story. But first, like always, want to thank my patrons. You guys are awesome. All 10 of you have really helped my life. You just don't even understand how. That little bit of extra monthly income is helping the channel. We're saving for some new equipment using just that Patreon money. I want to thank you guys. If you'd like to become a patron, link is in the description below. Alright, we are back with Jeff, and Jeff is going to tell us the story that led him to Jesus. And I'm warning you guys, it involves mushrooms, it involves a fight, it involves a trip to the hospital. I mean, this is the stuff of dreams.
So eventually I moved to Florida. From there, I was still continuing to do drugs. I was continuing to drink a little. I wasn't drinking that much still. I was kind of not into drinking as much. So I had these crazy experiences on mushrooms, and I was living on my own just as a server, and the mushrooms seemed to bring me to this higher state of consciousness, but I was still seeking God.
So there, right off the bat, first clip of this video, we get what I talked about in that last video right off the get, is like he corrects himself or changes his story from one sentence to the next. So he right there, he let it slip. I was still drinking a little bit, but then he remembered, oh shit, I had just said, and we covered it in the last video, that I didn't drink anymore, that I was no longer drinking. And then the focus of the story as we go through is these people were going to pressure him into drinking, right? But he just admitted that he was still drinking every once in a while. Realized he admitted that, realized that he had just said that he was no longer drinking, realized that he gave away part of his fib here, a part of his embellishment, so he had to correct it immediately. We're gonna get this a lot through this video.
This whole time, praying and seeking and praying. I didn't know who God was. I wasn't praying to Jesus. I was just praying to God. I wasn't thinking Jesus was God. So my friend invited me over to his house. I went over to his house to, I don't know, they had this party where they had a keg. I didn't drink still at the time. I said, yeah, I'll come over and hang out with you guys. And this kid was an angry drunk. I don't know if he still is, but he was at that time, and he's a good kid, good-hearted kid, but he got very mad when he was drinking. So I went over his house. I did mushrooms, actually. I went and got mushrooms before I went to his house.
So once again, immediately red flags are going up with this whole fucking story. I don't want to be like, you're a liar. I don't know if you're lying or not, but I'm getting a lot of red flags. So you're going to sit here and tell me that you're praying to a God and you don't even know who that God is. That you were praying that whole time to a God that you had no understanding of what that thing was. I don't believe you. I think growing up in this society, more than likely, if you were praying at all, you were praying to Jesus. You were praying to that God, Yahweh, the Father of Jesus, whatever. You knew, you had an understanding of who you were sending those prayers to if you were praying at all. Now, I've been through similar situations. I've been that drug addict praying to Jesus to take away my need, to make me a better person. And I fully understood that I was praying to Jesus, but I was a Christian at the time. And there's a point in this video where you slip up, I think it was earlier, and you talk about how your mom told you from the age of 6 that you were always curious about God. So obviously you did grow up in a household that understood who their God was. Obviously you were curious about that God. Obviously you had admitted that earlier in the video, forgot that admission, and now you're like, yep, I was praying to a God, I didn't know who the fuck he was. But getting beyond that little point, just getting beyond that little point, now we come to the story. We come to the story about how he's going to really let Jesus into his life. And it starts with getting invited to a party, and at this party they're going to have a keg, and he's like, well, I don't really drink anymore, even though he just admitted that he does still sometimes drink at this point. But he corrected his lie or whatever, his miscommunication immediately, contradicted himself. So Jeff here is taking the responsible route. And we all know if you're going to be responsible, if you're going to go to a party and not drink, the one thing you want to do is stop on your way to that party and get a bag full of fucking mushrooms.
I eventually was meditating while they were all drinking, and I was in the middle of the room while they were all having their fun drinking and everything. There's a lot to this story, I don't want to get too far into it. So I felt like there was this negative presence in the room, because I'm sure there was. They were drinking, they were loud. I was on mushrooms, you know. So I was just sitting there. My dog came up to me. She was like right up on my face. I had my eyes closed the whole time, and I was like this, kind of moving my legs really fast. I don't know why. I felt like there was something coming, and I really was searching God for real, like searching and searching and searching. And this is really the time God revealed himself to me, Jesus. I was meditating, and then they kept saying, "Jeff, come drink." And then they kept literally they just kept, "Jeff, come on, drink, Jeff." And then they started chanting my name. They were just like messing with me, crazy situation. But at one point I got up and I started like growling. I literally started growling at them. Like I felt like a dog. I sensed their negative energy, and I was growling at this negative energy that was trying to get me to drink. And I told them no, I don't want to drink.
Alright, so before we get too involved, I just gotta tell you, dude, you broke the classic rule. If you're tripping, you don't want to hang out with people that's not tripping. They're not gonna understand your mentality. See, they're in a drinking frame of mind, and what you just described is something that happens at parties. Oh, that guy's not drinking, let's chant his name, let's get him drinking, let's get him to enjoy the fun and be part of this atmosphere. But you're not part of that atmosphere when you're tripping. You're in a whole different fucking reality. You were not there with those people. So what you're describing now is you're starting to have a bad reaction to them. They don't understand you, they're trying to pressure you, and that's creating you to have a bad trip. So you stand up, you get very hostile, and you start growling at them. In the middle of a party, this is going to create a scene. You are going to be a disturbance, and they're not going to like that, and they're not going to understand that you are just not in reality.
At one point, his dad put his hand on me, on my shoulder, and I went like that. I got it off. I got up. I got in like a fighting stance. I was like in this fighting stance, ready to go. I don't know. I had this. It was crazy. I had my eyes closed, and I could literally go. I saw where I was going without having my eyes open. So I knew exactly where I was stepping and what was around me without looking. And it was like an out-of-body experience almost. It felt like I was being taken over by something.
So, you know, just to start off, like, this dude's dad gets father of the fucking year. Like, you having a party of 17, 18-year-olds at your house. You got a keg for him. You got this kid tripping fucking balls. Yeah, father of the year here. But here we're going to get into the start of the aggression. So he shrugs off the dad, gets up, and admittedly gets into a fighting stance. Like, he's ready to fight everybody. He has become a danger to this situation. Now, what's going to happen to him, I don't condone. But he's going to act like he's the innocent one in all of this. And no, like, you are literally getting up, getting into a fighting position, challenging everybody. So, I mean, he is the initial aggressor here. And it's all because you are on this drug that has changed your perception. And you've put yourself in an atmosphere that's going to allow that drug to take control of your brain and put you into a bad trip scenario, which you are relaying to us right fucking now.
So at one point I was over outside, we were in the garage, I was outside of the garage. My friend was like, there's 10 of us, there's one of you, because I was still ready to fight. I mocked them because they kept coming at me with this, they just kept saying, like, harassing me, it felt. So I think I went like this, like making fun of them, wah, like, and I still had my eyes closed, and I kept doing that, like mocking them, because he was getting mad. And then at one point, all of a sudden, I felt someone, I don't know who exactly it was, because my eyes were closed this whole time. Someone like hit me. I think I like threw him off, and then a bunch of people like attacked me.
Now on screen, he has those words: "I didn't lay my hands on anybody. I was attacked." I'm the victim here. And no, you wasn't the victim here. Now I'm going to talk about the attack and how they're wrong for that, but you initiated this. You stood up, wanted to fight everybody. It eventually went out to the garage. They're literally telling you, hey, there's 10 of us, there's one of you, stop your shit. You keep doing it. This whole talk about you having your eyes closed but you still see like an out-of-body experience. No, you're on mushrooms. You had your fucking eyes open. Your perception was that they were closed. Shit happens all the fucking time. But you know, you are 1 against 10. So even though you're the initial aggressor, even though you have started this shit because you put yourself into a situation that allowed yourself to have a bad trip, even though you started this shit, you still didn't deserve what you got. This person should have called the police and got you out of there instead of ganging up on you with 10 people. That was wrong. That shouldn't have happened to you. And you shouldn't accept it that that's just something that happened. You know, it's not right. It shows you what kind of people they are. It shows you what kind of cowards they are. They can't fight their own individual battles. They have to have this group mentality because they're pussies. But you know, so far this story is just like another teenage story, right? Like, this is a story that most teenagers would be able to tell. Most teenagers have been in situations like this. This is like a rite of passage almost in this country. Like, you're gonna be in a situation like this, whether it's happening to you or whether you're observing it, you know, unless you're just in a deeply fundamental Christian bubble and you're not allowed to get out of it. You know, nothing too crazy about Jesus and none of that. You know, dude's gonna get his ass beat because, you know, he challenged 10 fucking people.
I don't know exactly what it was. I think it was some kind of spiritual, who knows, you know, I don't know. I can't say I was on mushrooms. They were drinking. But I do know this is exactly what I experienced. So at one point I got choked out. I got choked out, literally put to sleep, choked out. I went to sleep and I was laying on the ground on my back. I opened my eyes and like there were people all circled around me looking at me. And I was like, is this me? Is this me right now? And all of a sudden, I felt this amazing peace, this incredible peace in me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens. You're on a drug and you're gonna have these great roller coasters of moods and emotions. That's what mushrooms do to you. So yeah, you just got choked out. We just got to the part of the movie where Smokey comes up, looks down at you, and was like, you got knocked the fuck out. That's the part of the movie we got to. You woke up and this drug took over and you had this overwhelming peace come into you. Nothing supernatural about that. I know you're gonna go there, but nothing supernatural about that. It's what a drug does. Don't do drugs. Or if you're gonna do drugs, at least understand what the fuck you're getting into.
And I went up to my friend. I started hugging him for some reason, and I said, I can feel you over and over again. So they started reaching in my pockets. I think they were trying to get the mushrooms out of my pocket. So I took my pants, I had my shirt off for some reason at this point. I had only had my shorts on. And they were trying to go through my pockets when I was standing there after I got choked out. But I had this incredible peace. And I took my shorts off. I said, here, you can have my shorts. So at this point, I was just in my underwear.
Yeah, they were trying to rob you, dog. Like, they done fucked you up, choked you out, beat your ass, and then you're getting up all lovey-dovey. They're like, we want some of what he's on. So they're going through your pockets trying to get your mushrooms. And what does your drugged up ass do? You take your fucking pants off and give it to them. Again, still at this point of the story, we're experiencing a normal teenage American story, I think. Nothing supernatural. This shit happens. You got your ass beat, you was on mushrooms, lesson fucking learned. Next time you do mushrooms, only do mushrooms with people that are doing mushrooms. Put yourself into a positive atmosphere. Understand that you need to have positive vibes or it can lead to a bad trip. It can lead to some serious mental issues. And that's where we're gonna end part 2 of this video, this personal experience of how I got to Jesus through mushrooms. And he's not talking Jesus too much yet. He's talking about this overwhelming calm that he has, that he is talking like this is supernatural. Jesus came in and calmed him down, when no, it was just the fucking drug. But this is the end of part 2. Part 3 is going to be coming really, really soon. We're going to finish up this story. Jesus is coming. I'll see you soon.